Hey everybody, welcome to day 250 of Reseller Reflections, a day in the life of full-time reseller supporting our family. It is Thursday, February 13th, 2025, and we did hit our sales goal today. The week is, I don't know if we're going to hit our weekly goal because we had a couple down days, couple up days. So we'll see. Time will tell. All right, so what I want to chat about tonight is your future self, and not in some kind of like esoteric way, like a very practical way. And it was this podcast I was listening to. It was actually an excerpt of the podcast. It's 5 Boundaries You Need to Set in Every Relationship. It's Lewis Howes' School of Greatness with Melissa Urban. And here's one of the things she had talked about that really hit pretty well was when she's deciding whether she wants to stay up and like watch an extra episode of a Netflix, series she's binging on or something like that, she will ask herself, or maybe she wants to stay up late and do so, whatever. What is that going to do to me tomorrow? What does she's Melissa, but I'm going to say, what does that do to future Libby? What does that do to Libby tomorrow morning? If I stay up too late, I don't get enough sleep. Maybe I don't feel like going to the gym in the morning. Maybe it's extra hard to get out of bed. Maybe, it just spirals throughout the day and, it just puts me on a non-productive path. And I think sleep is something that a lot of us really have to think about. I mean, it's so foundational. We've talked about morning routines and all sorts of, tips and tricks you can do. But I think this one is maybe another missing piece. Like what happens the night before when you're tempted to stay up or, tempted to, I don't know, eat a big snack at night or something that's really going to affect your sleep. What does your future self look like? What do you look like? I mean, not even future. What does it look like tomorrow morning for you? How does that decision impact your next day? And I think that might be a really useful tool when we're making that decision, like in the moment, what we're going to do. What does that do to the the next morning? What does that do to our night's sleep? How does that affect us going forward? So I'm going to try reframing that. And I actually framed it for something I'm doing tonight. So it was my week to pick where we were all going out tonight. And I chose, there's a guy playing that I like to listen to at the bar next door. So which that means I can just walk next door instead of driving, which means that if I want to have a drink, because I don't even have one drink and drive, I just don't do that. But so I was like, all right, well, I can have a drink. But then I thought, I reframed it just like this. And I thought, all right, what does that mean for future me? Alcohol just doesn't, I enjoy like the occasional drink, but it does affect me the next day. Yes, even one. It's ridiculous. Maybe I'm a little bit more sluggish. I just don't feel as peppy as I normally do. It's even one drink does have a little bit of an effect on me. I know this is probably not for most people, but it's a pretty good example because it's real time. And I thought, you know what? Tomorrow I have a really long day. I am going to visit my son tomorrow out in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to work half a day. Then I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to drive 6 hours and, get there and all the stuff that entails. So, you know what? Maybe future Libby doesn't really want to have a drink tonight. I'm thinking that's probably the better choice is not to have a drink because it'll probably just set me on a bad path for tomorrow. And why take the chance, right? Why even take the chance of like not feeling my best? I've already been tired. I don't need to add anything else into the mix that's going to make me exhausted for the ride or all of the things that I need to do tomorrow. So yeah. All right. So that's one way I thought about my future self. And so maybe if you're struggling with, maybe staying up too late or watching that extra Netflix show or, I don't know, like what else? I really like the bedtime example. That really resonated for me. So Let me know how it resonates for you and how you can use this little trick. And I'm not really talking about here. I think it's more like an immediate thing. Like, I'm not talking about like, all right, should I have that cheeseburger tonight? Because how's that going to affect me a year down the road? I'm not talking about way down the road. I'm talking about like using this in like a more immediate sense of like how it's going to affect you tomorrow, how it's going to affect, the rest of your night, the next couple hours, the, next morning. Don't think about it in some big, larger sense. I really like the short-term practical things. So I'm going to link up the episode that this was on. There's a lot of good tips and tricks for boundaries and all sorts of things, but this is the part that really hit me. Hopefully it helps you. I am all reset to zero, and my future self always thanks me for that. Yes, that's another really good example, right? How would future Libby feel if she wasn't reset to zero? Yeah. All right. And how would these people feel tomorrow if they didn't reset to zero? All right. You guys ask yourself. Jill of Rusted Truck Relics, Jason the Santee Swapper, Judith R, Pam of Whimsy and Such, Becky of Becky Consigns, Lee of Lee Phillips 4191, and Vanessa the Diabetic Reseller. Go ahead. Ask yourself if you're tempted not to do it. How are you going to feel in the morning when you walk into a messy workspace? All right, guys. Have an awesome night. I will see you on day 251 of Reseller Reflections. Night, night.